What are the best roles for each unit? Now, I've been asked by one of you guys in my live stream recently if I could break down the pros and cons to each unit, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So this video might be catered more to the newer player, but either way, I hope this helps you out a lot. As always, please let me know down in the comments if there's anything you want me to help you with. I'm more than happy to help you out, guys. Let's jump straight into the manual. Now, what we're going to do here in the manual is we're going to be able to see all the different types of units and what is available here in Warpath. Now, one thing you may notice that in each camp there is going to be a different unit that is specified for each section. So for the Marty camp, which is the red camp, we'll call it red camp for now, you'll notice that there is a rocket launcher. Now this rocket launcher is not going to be in any other camp, so this is going to be camp specific to the red camp. Now over on Liberty, which we're going to call blue camp, the blue camp specific unit is going to be the light tank. Now, the light tank, again, is only for the blue camp. And then finally, over here, we actually have two units that are specific for this camp here, but one of them's kind of a hybrid. So the first one is going to be the super heavy. Now, the super heavy tank is one that can kind of soak up more damage and provide a bit more protection to its unit. And then the second one is actually going to be an anti-tank gun. Now, what an anti-tank gun is, it's very similar to the Howitzers, but it has a slight different role. It's more geared towards vehicles rather than fortifications and vehicles. Now, what I'm about to say, guys, applies for all units. So when you click on the name, it will say here camp bonus. So as you can see here, the camp bonus for the Marty, it repairs itself. So Marty's medium tanks automatically regain HP after combat, so they heal themselves automatically. But if I was to go over here and check the medium tank in the Liberty, you'll see here that Camp Liberty medium tank troops can be rapidly reinforced, so they train much faster. Also, the higher speed medium tanks from other camps, so they're faster and they retrain quicker. So as I said, each unit has its little pros, little cons. And then finally, the medium tank over here, this one is also going to rapidly reinforce, but it's also got higher firepower, so it loses out on a little bit of speed, but it deals a lot more damage. So with that being said, guys, what I would like you to do whenever you're checking out a unit that you're thinking of getting, make sure you read the camp bonuses and kind of pick and choose your play style to fit how you think the camp bonus is going to fit you perfectly. So we're going to dive in, kind of give the pros and cons to each unit and where they should be used and how you should use them effectively. Pretty much with all three, actually. For the infantry, they're kind of making a comeback into the game. They are becoming very, very strong. Now, what infantry are going to be used for at the moment is in the field fights, they're going to want to be used to attack helicopter rallies, light rallies, and kind of just stop the vehicles from making a big dent. These infantry can soak up so much damage against vehicles, and they are very, very strong against those big helicopter rallies that you'll find in the level 4 events. But another thing they're very good for is also attacking bases. Now, because they soak up so much damage, they are very good right now for attacking a base and being that first unit to approach the building and start and initiate the attack. This will then give the other units like the Howitzers, the rocket launchers, and the other vehicles to then start attacking and hopefully try and blow up that base before that infantry unit has been destroyed in its bunker stage. Now, with infantry, guys, I'm going to quickly show you. You have infantry that can run around, but once they come to a stop, they go into a fortified bunker. Now, when in this bunker mode, they do have much more protection, and that's why they are very good when it comes to soaking up as much damage as possible. So guys, moving on to the next unit we're going to talk about here is we're going to be talking about the main battle tank. Now, what the main battle tank is, it's either a medium or a heavy. Now, what a main battle tank is, it's a modern unit. So you've got legacy units and modern units. I'll quickly click on the medium tank for now. So obviously you start with a medium tank, and eventually once you get it to its highest stage, you can evolve it into MB, which is a main battle tank. Now, once it's a main battle tank, that is like the modern version of a medium tank, but there is two types. Now, you can get medium tank or heavy tank. Both the medium tank and heavy tank both transform into a main battle tank, so it doesn't matter what one you choose. Both of these, when you make it into into a modern unit will eventually turn into the same thing. The next thing, guys, is a tank hunter. Now, what a tank hunter is good for is hunting down other tanks. But to be more precise, obviously in this lower region, they're mostly going to be used to go after the heavy tanks, but they do get kind of outbeaten by the medium and the light tanks. Now, if you click on the name here, you can see everything that they are countered by and everything that they are perfectly designed to attack. So anything they're designed to attack will be under counter. Anything that does a lot of damage to them will be under countered by. Now, what we're going to explain to you guys is when you make it modern, the same with the medium and the heavy turns into a main battle tank. What happens when you get a tank hunter is it turns into a helicopter. Now, the helicopter is designed for attacking main battle tanks. That's what it's specifically designed for. It goes and attacks the main battle tanks. That's where it deals the most damage, but it also gets countered by light tanks. So you got to be very careful. You know, it's a circle of life. So this will attack this will attack this. It's like a circle of life, guys. Everything counters something in this game, and the easiest way to find out is by clicking on the name, and it will be able to tell you. So one of the cons, guys, of the helicopter is it doesn't have the greatest amount of health. It's a very agile unit, but the thing is it can fly over mountains. It goes in a straight line. It will fly over obstacles. It's very versatile in that aspect, but it's like a glass cannon. Although it can hit really hard, it also suffers damage really easily. And of course, the light tank is one of the fastest units on the field, and that's its predator. So you've got to be very careful of those light tanks that are whizzing around. And honestly, guys, the helicopter right now is one of the main meta units in the game, just because of the fact that you can easily access anywhere on the map and then just pick off the main battle tanks that are roaming around. So guys, moving on to the rocket launcher. Now, the rocket launcher will remain a rocket launcher when it goes into a modern, and what the rocket launcher is very good at is killing infantry. Now, as I said, infantry soak up a lot of damage, but when it comes to having the rocket launcher is absolutely devastational against the infantry. But of course, if you get too close to that infantry, your rocket launchers are very weak units. They are one of, if not the weakest unit on the entire battlefield. So anything that hits a rocket launcher, it doesn't matter what it is, it's going to do a lot of damage. So you got to be very agile. You got to be in and out of the fights as quick as you can. But in general, guys, this is seen as, at the moment in time with the current meta, it's kind of seen as one of the worst units purely because of just how weak this unit is with the damage it suffers. It's a very strong against infantry, and because infantry are becoming slightly meta right now because they, as I said, they soak up so much damage, rocket launchers are starting to become a little bit more wanted within these battlefields. Moving on to the next one, guys, we have got the Howitzer, one of my favorite units on the game. Now, this is going to be obviously the red camp. This is going to do extra damage against units more than what the blue Howitzer is going to do. So what the blue Howitzer does is a good at attacking fortifications. So if you're someone who's going to want to attack bases and maybe infantry, you're going to want to go for the blue Howitzer rather than going for the red Howitzer. So these are little things you got to think about, the pros and the cons, how you're going to want to use your unit. These units are mostly going to be used in your base when defending. If you take your whole base to an enemy and you want to go and attack them, this is also going to be one of the best units to be using when sieging a base. And then, guys, you have air support. Now, you've got two different types. You've got fighters and bombers. The fighters, these ones have maneuverability, and then if we go over to the blue ones, they increase their firepower. And then finally over here for the Vanguard, the silver ones, these have intercept. Now, when it comes to fighters, it also depends on the officers you're running. So guys, if you want to see a better video explaining officers and the best pairings for the officers on each unit, please check out the card at the top right of the screen. This will take you straight to it, or the link will be found down in the description if you can't access the card. This video will basically just explain everything about the best officers and the best pairings to be using on each individual unit. And then finally, guys, the other air support we have is bombers. We've got two types of bombers. We've got tracer bombers and we've got AoE bombers. Now, tracer bombers are going to be the red ones and also the grey ones. These will lock onto a target and continuously bomb them. They will track the target, but it's only one target at a time. It will track one unit and it will bomb it. So the grey ones, these will bomb any unit within that one singular grid. It will do damage to all units within that one grid. Whereas the red one, what this one does, again, it only locks onto one unit, but it will shoot 3 rockets that will go to 3 individual units within that grid, and it will do extra damage and penetrate a lot more and deal higher damage on those 3 units. So it kind of depends. If you're attacking, say, artillery that have a lot of units within that grid, you're going to want to focus on using the Grey Vanguard bomber. But if you're attacking something like a helicopter that has a lot more armor, or say a main battle tank, then you're going to want to focus on maybe using the red bomber. And the final bomber, guys, to get here is going to be the Liberty bomber, the blue bomber. This one has a blast radius, so instead of attacking just one grid, it will indeed attack 7 grids. But unfortunately, the con of this unit is it does not lock on. So once you set it to go somewhere, it will only attack those 7 grids and anything within it. If those units move, you're going to end up attacking nothing, whereas the other ones can track and follow the target as it's moving away. So guys, moving on to the light tank. Now, what the light tank is going to be mainly used for here is, honestly, you're going to want to just run around and cause havoc. This is the fastest unit in the game, excluding the fighters, but those are air units, so you're not going to need to worry about those. But on the ground, guys, these are the fastest units in the game, and honestly, they are a very fun unit to be using. So as you can see here, the L counters a lot. It counters tank hunters, helicopters, howitzers, and anti-tank guns, but it is also countered by main battle tanks. So you got to try and stay away from those main battle tanks. But what you want to be doing as a light tank is you kind of want to have that guerrilla warfare. You're going to want to be getting in and out of the situation, flanking people, nibbling at people, because your fire rate is so fast. You're going to want to swoop in from behind, attack them, and get out of there before you get damaged. So guys, the thing about the L unit is it also can attack air units. So all you need to do is park your light tank below, and you can then designate it to attack air units. So if you've got a fighter that's hovering in the sky, you can also use this to attack a fighter, which I think is honestly absolutely amazing. But as I said, guys, the light tank is absolutely phenomenal if you're someone who wants to be doing that guerrilla warfare, getting on them flanks and doing absolute mad damage from behind, and maybe even attacking the reserves of those that are healing their units and sending back to their other troops that are still out in the fields. And finally, guys, heading over to the Vanguard, as I said, we have the super heavy tank. Now, the super heavy tank is a very, very thick unit, and as you can see here, it's reinforced and it takes 50% less damage from officer skills. So the super heavy tank is very good at sort of tanking a base, but unfortunately, it's not that amazing right now. It used to be very, very strong, but unfortunately, they have kind of become a bit out of touch and they're not as great as they used to be, but I'm sure they will get buffed soon and, you know, become that almighty strength of a unit it used to be. As I said, I thoroughly used to enjoy using this unit. It's always been a great fun. But as I said, guys, the anti-tank gun, which we're about to move on and show you in a minute, is absolutely amazing. So heading over to the anti-tank gun here, this unit here is mainly designed to kill the super heavies that are trying to siege your base, but there is a drawback. Now, the problem here is it deals so much penetration that it literally destroys super heavies, but when it comes to things like infantry, you just don't do any damage to them. You also don't do any damage to bases, so if you're trying to siege a base, there is no point in you using an ATG, an anti-tank gun, to attack a base. It does nothing. It is completely worthless when it comes to attacking bases, but I still see so many people attacking a base with an anti-tank gun, and it makes no sense. You're just feeding kills at that point. So if you are wanting to have something that defends your base, just like myself, I currently have one that's sat in my base here. If you want something that can defend your base, this is going to be the unit you want. It will be 90% of the time sat inside of your base, and this is going to be kind of one of those defensive units. So I've got my offensive unit, I got my base sieging unit, and I got my defense unit right here. So I've gone kind of a mixture. I like to get up close and personal, attack people, but at the same time, I like to keep myself under a bit of defense, which is why I've got the ATG, the helicopter helps that, and even the artillery will also help with that. So I've got that offensive and defensive ability, but something I'm lacking is field support. I'm not that great in the field because obviously this unit is very slow. This unit is very slow. The only one that's fast is my helicopter. So I can send my helicopter to a rally that's made by one of my teammates or myself. I can use this one unit as a field unit, but it's all I've got for the field. So for me personally, I do lack that ability in the field, but I make up for it by having some cannons to absolutely siege bases and destroy them. So guys, I hope this video helped you a lot. Please, please, please let me know down in the comments comments if I've missed anything out. I really appreciate all the love and support from you guys. I hope whether you're brand new to learning Warpath, and hopefully this video helps you understand what kind of unit you want, or whether you're someone who's been around in Warpath for a very long time and you're still kind of just figuring out how you want your base to end up, please let me know down in the comments how you're doing. I really appreciate all the love and support, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video.